Hey ET fam, Kirby here from Essential Tennis with Ian and Ira. Today we're going to talk about Roger Federer and what makes his forehand the greatest of all time. So, the most important part is how this applies to your forehand. Let's get to the lesson.
One of the things that makes Roger Federer's forehand one of the best on the tour is something that doesn't even involve hitting the ball. And it's something that you can do at home anytime you'd like. It's called the loading phase of the swing, or how you prepare to get ready to hit the ball. Now, one thing that Roger does really well is right before he starts his loading phase, he begins to turn his hips, which rotates the chest, so his shoulders are perpendicular to the baseline. Now, they don't have to be exactly perpendicular. Sometimes he actually goes past perpendicular so that he can increase his loading or his coil. Now, an easy drill that you can do at home and you can do when you're on the courts is take your left hand and leave it on the racket until your shoulders are perpendicular and then separate your hands. As you'll see in the clip, Federer does that by leaving his left hand on the racket, and that's something you can right now incorporate into your game. Now, once Federer gets into his loaded position, he's now ready to initiate his forward swing. And in the next video, Ian's going to show you how he does that in what's referred to as the kinetic chain.
Now that Ira has walked you through how to powerfully load your body to initiate this swing, let's talk about the forward swing and what leads a good, powerful forehand like Roger Federer's. And Ira used a phrase called the kinetic chain, which simply refers to correct sequencing or usage of the body rotating forwards. And to initiate this swing during the loading phase, Ira talked about how that right hip initiated to turn the chest and turn the shoulders to turn Roger's body back. And it's important to realize that the same body part initiates the forward swing as well. From his legs and then his hips, he begins his forward rotation, which you'll see in the clip that we're using, and his arm and his hand lay back and actually separate from the forward rotation of his body. This is opposite of how a lot of amateur players do it, who turn to the side and then swing their arm before their body goes forwards. So a great way that you can practice this at home is by tying an elastic band to your racket, or you can have a friend come in and hold your racket after your loading phase to get a feel for what it's like to turn your core and your hips forwards first. And you'll just feel a gentle stretch here in your shoulder. And then your friend will let go, and you can practice going forwards from there. This is a little bit exaggerated from what you see in the clip of Roger, the position that I literally was in. But in my experience working with students, getting to that exaggerated position really helps players understand what it should be like to lead with their chest and their hips first, which is vital to creating smooth, easy power. So now that we know how to initiate the forward swing, let's move on to Kirby, who's going to talk about contact point.
What Ira and Ian had to say before are the building blocks to this third concept that makes Roger Federer's forehand absolutely legendary. This concept is the contact point. And what makes him so extraordinary at this is his ability with his movement and positioning to put himself into balance at all times, or as often as humanly possible, to get the ball out in front of his body comfortably. Now, the vast majority of amateur players tend to have a contact point that's late, and it gives us this, what I like to call the chicken wing effect, where our whole body is scrunched up, we're jammed up, instead of being comfortably out in front of us, giving ourselves the best ability to move freely with our body. Really bringing into play what Ian had to say about the kinetic chain. It's so hard to execute the kinetic chain if you are scrunched up like this and in a weak, compromised physical position. So you at home, I want you to practice your contact point by furthering on what Ian had to say with his exercise using the friend holding the racket. And what we're gonna do is, I'm standing up against the net. You could also use a wall. as long as it has a designated point on the wall. For me, I'm using the net strap as a point of reference for where I want to be making contact. So in my head, this is where the ball's hitting. So I'm just going to take my racket and position my body in a comfortable spot. Take my racket back, turn my chest so that it's parallel with the net, and move my racket forward. Now, I want to make sure, if you can see from the side, that I want to make sure that my arm is extended out comfortably. It's not jammed up and too close like a lot of people do, and it's not too far away. Roger's really known for how far extended out in front he is, but that doesn't mean that you need to be all the way here. You can have a comfortable bend in your arm. And another factor that's going to affect this is what grip you're using. So again, we're just going to take this here, open the chest, and move it to contact. The contact should be out in front of your body with a comfortable arm. Now, if this is helpful to you and you want to take it a step further, head over to forehandactionplan.com or click the link in the description down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, comment, and we will make more topics. Just let us know what you need help with. And while you're at it, make sure that you subscribe so that you never miss a single video. In the meantime, we will see you next time. Hey T-Fam, Kirby, Ian, and Ira here from Essential Tennis. Today we're going to be talking about what makes Roger Forehanderer.
As Kirby mentioned, Roger Federer has the greatest forehand of all time. That's not even true though. One of the things that makes Roger Federer's forehand incredible is his loading phase, or how he prepares to hit the racket. You'll hit the racket. You can hit a racket. Did you know that? Now this sets him up to be in a nice loaded position where then he can begin the next phase of his.
And don't forget our action plan. It's free.
It's free! The third thing that makes Roger Federer's forehand legendary. He is so consistently out in front of his body. It's insane.